What do you want to start with?
So I guess if you just introduce yourself,
Yeah.
see who you are,
Okay.
and what you do.
That's interesting. I don't know how I would introduce myself. I'm Adam Watson, I guess. Oh, I don't like that because people go, I'm Adam Watson and I'm an artist, and then it cuts to them in slow motion painting, doesn't it? I was always into art, I think. As a kid, I was always into art. I did it a lot. Whenever I had a chance, I would always try and paint or draw or do something. You do kind of get discouraged out of these things, I think, in school, because under the premise that you'll never get a job doing that thing, which is kind of a ridiculous reason not to do something, but I left it for years. I didn't paint, I didn't draw anything for maybe 5 or 6 years. And then I went to university and I was working at HMV. There was an album cover by The Strokes. Have you seen that Strokes album cover? It's the new one, I forgot what it was called. But it was on a big vinyl thing. And I saw it and I was like, who painted that? And a guy I work with called Kev said, that's Jean-Michel Basquiat. He did a painting, you should go and look at him. So he lent me some Basquiat books that he had. And I loved his style because, like I think you were going to say later on, why do you paint what you paint? But the answer, to be honest with you, is genuinely that I can't paint anything else. I can't do landscapes, I can't do portraits, I can't do dogs, animals, whatever it is that you want. But I can do that kind of shit. I can do colours and I can do how I'm feeling and I can write what I'm feeling, and it's just a smack in the face. I just love it. The process is it's long, it varies. It can be really, really long, but most of that time is just spent looking at it. Sitting and staring at a blank canvas is death. I start by just making strokes. What colours do I like? How am I feeling colour-wise? Start making some strokes, throw some water on there, put some spray paint on. What words come to mind? And then I'll just take it from there. I have to start, otherwise I will just look at it for hours. But once you've started, it's relatively flowy. It's really, I think the hardest thing about making work that looks not effortlessly childish, but you know what I mean, that kind of thing, is keeping like a childlike sense of wonder and mentality. Because I'm usually tired if I'm painting and I need to be able to feel like I can play. I need to be able to feel like this is a free space. This box has to just be like a space where you can write whatever you want, whatever you're feeling, whatever you're painting, whatever you're doing. It has to just be free. Otherwise the work comes out stiff and it comes out like an adult's trying to convey how he's feeling like a child. I feel like I have to come down here and this has to be a place where I feel like I'm like sort of free of things, so it's nice to have lots of sources. It's nice to have music over here, Jeff Goldblum on the telly. Jeff Goldblum says funny things all the time and it's playful, it's fun. Some of the music's heavy, some of it isn't. But it's just a way, I don't know, it's just a way of scratching the itch in your head, I think. I couldn't paint in silence. I don't think you could do it in silence. That would be shit. I don't know, because a lot of people do though, don't they? George Condo, he paints in absolute silence. It's great having lots of sources of inspiration at the same time, I find. Because it's quite language orientated, it's nice to have films on over here, music on over there, fucking headphones on when I want to just plug my headphones on, one headphone in, telly on over here, like it's loud, magazines on the floor, so that I can see a word I like, I can see a phrase I like, I can hear something that I like, and then I can either just put it down or... I like having people in here while I'm painting. I like having friends around, I like having family in, if they're doing nothing, because while I'm painting, I'm chatting to them, and they might say something that's funny or something that makes me think, or something that's interesting, you know? If you chat to somebody for 6 hours, you'll maybe get one sentence that's so profoundly profound that is worth making a mark on canvas for, but most of it's just bollocks, isn't it? And most of the stuff you say is just bollocks when you're chatting to someone. But you can find, like, someone will just say something that just makes you laugh, and you'll think that I'm going to do a little crayon drawing about that. And that's fun. Art as a therapy, I think, works brilliantly. Art therapy is one of them things I think you can put in the bank. I think that's tried and true. So I think if I'm going through something tough, then I'll generally turn to painting. There's someone called Maggie Hamblin. I love Maggie Hamblin as an artist. She inspires me a lot. And she says that she always goes to her work for a conversation, like you would with your best friend.
So if you're feeling sad, then go to your work. If you're feeling happy, then go to your work. If you're feeling really horny, then go to your work. And she always says that, and that always stuck with me. I feel like that's a good way of looking at shit. Whether you're a filmmaker, a writer, a painter, whatever the fuck you do. Go to your work and have a chat about it. I think that's good.
Do you think, losing your dad and stuff, do you think if that didn't happen, do you think you'd be in this space now with all these pieces of art around you and stuff?
Nah. If I didn't lose my dad, I wouldn't be painting. I was painting a little bit when he was around, but it was just to fuck around really. It wasn't anything serious, but you need art for stuff like that. You need art in general for stuff like that. It seems like a very fluffy, nice thing, creative thing, art, but I do think it's one of them things where it seems inconsequential until something happens to you where you need it, whether it's music or painting or whatever. If you lose someone, you need a way of explaining all of this shit that you can't make sense of, and art is great for that. It's where the illogical reasoning just doesn't click, like nothing makes sense, but art can make sense of that. You can hear a song where someone can describe how you're feeling, because a lot of the time when stuff like that happens, you're thinking, has anyone ever felt like this? And it's nice to look through art and know, yeah, lots of people have felt like this and they're fine. Similarly in the inverse, where it's like, yeah, fall in love, or you're really happy, or whatever it is, art's great for expressing that too. But yeah, I wouldn't be painting. I always thought I'd do something creative. I failed everything in school. I got D's and C's in pretty much everything, even art, because I didn't go to art school or anything like that. I don't know what's good. I don't know if I'm doing it correctly. Is this how it's meant to be done? But the idea of doing anything else is just, it's not really an option, is it? If you're only really good at a couple of things, you only really like a couple of things, and you're fortunate enough to find them early in life. So I spend the next 5 or 6 years doing this. I'm still only 30, and I'll have a shitload of work to show for it.
Do you think you'll ever stop?
Yeah, I'll stop at some point, yeah. I'm very, I'll pick stuff up and I'll get really, really, really into it. I'll get really intensely into stuff for a while and then I'll just drop it, but I'll probably go back to filmmaking for a little bit, or I might decide I like doing something else, or I don't think there's anything wrong with tasting things and just seeing what you like and trying out different things. And even if I never paint anything ever again, it's benefited me in a lot of ways other than just, a monetary sense, or even just as a career path. I don't know what it would be like to be as a painter for your job. I don't know whether that would suck the fun out of it. I've never spoken to another painter. I think art's essential. I think it has to be here. It's one of those things, isn't it? Everybody listens to music, everybody listens to film, watches films and all this shit. You need art. I need to make it more than I need to sell it, which is good. I think when that changes, that becomes an issue. If I had to paint 3 pieces a week to meet a financial quota, then I probably wouldn't want to do it anymore, or I wouldn't be able to do it. Or maybe I would. I rise.